It's the worst of the CBC for November 27th, 2020, the show where I watch the CBC so you don't have to. And today, it's one of those days where it's screw it, the news is bad, it's not going to teach you anything, we have to pick it all up and throw it out because there's real news to do. So yes, the CBC sucks. Worst story we could say, them just not giving Trudeau any pressure for not being able to get the vaccines to Canadians in a timely manner. I mean, this is the thing they're pushing, number one. Remember, Donald Trump doesn't care about COVID, and Donald Trump got, murdered 2.5 billion Americans that have died of COVID, and it's all 100% Trump's fault. Well, for all Trump's bluster, he managed to secure, vaccine supply to the American people, or Justin Trudeau was saying, oh, we take everything so seriously. Oh my God, so seriously. Didn't get a vaccine to Canadians, right? Dicked around on the ventilator contracts, gave the ventilator contract to his friend who just created a ventilator company like a week beforehand just to funnel money back to himself. So Justin Trudeau's never taken this pandemic seriously. And yes, Donald Trump might have tweeted mean things, but he has done an exponentially better job at preparing his country for getting through it than Justin Trudeau has. And CBC, of course, made it seem like the Conservative government was crazy for criticizing Justin Trudeau's inability to secure vaccines in the middle of a pandemic. Oh. Okay, so that we have the fact that new Canadian hero Adam Skelly has been arrested, and they mentioned tense scene as he was arrested. Didn't mention, and then they cut to the cop saying, "Oh yes, listen, we have to follow the laws set out by the province. We're just following laws." Later that night, friggin' Wet'suwet'en, the fake Indigenous protest, the Wet'suwet'en people shut down entire intersections in Yonge and Dundas. So peacefully demonstrating on private property with the permission of the person who owns that property, send in the police horses. Shutting down the intersections downtown Toronto to protest for the Wet'suwet'en, even though the real Wet'suwet'en were in favor of the LNG pipeline, and it was just the fake Wet'suwet'en who were funded by the friggin' Rockefellers in the United States who are... But I digress. So clearly, no, there is no moral consistency or any type of consistency from the Toronto police. So I think, if anything, this shows you that the arrest of Adam Skelly was a hit put out by John Tory. This is the evidence. Because if it wasn't, they wouldn't have let the protesters block the intersections of Yonge and Dundas last night. But they did. Illegal protesting on private property with the permission of the person who owns that property versus blocking a major intersection. We just gotta enforce the laws how they come. Blah, BS. Good news, though. The reason why we threw out the CBC stuff and no Rosemary Barden scale, and this is what I want to let you know, is Iran's top nuclear scientist has been assassinated, likely by the Mossad. So, good job, Mossad. This is great news. If you've sort of been watching me over the last month or so, my number one fear of Joe Biden is Joe Biden has a very, very, very good chance of kicking off a global thermonuclear war by re-entering the Iran deal, as Obama did. When Obama signed the Iran deal, he basically signed, it should have been called World War III starts in 20 years, and he signed that. The Iran deal gives the Iranians the ability to start building nukes, or start building towards nukes after 10 years, and actually have nukes in 20 years. And they say, the Iranians themselves, the Islamic Republic says they want to use these nukes to nuke Israel and then take over the West. So they say they want nukes for the express purpose of starting a global thermonuclear war. Then they go in English and say, no, we didn't say this. We want nukes of peace. Okay. They tell the truth in Farsi. They lie in English. John Kerry only listens to the English. I listen to both. Trump has done a great job of preventing this catastrophe with two things. Well, I'm going to actually one thing from Trump. Trump taking out Qasem Soleimani was such a huge help to global stability. Qasem Soleimani is an arch-terrorist, worse than bin Laden. And usually when we talk about drone striking terrorists, it's a big game of whack-a-mole. Like, you kill the third in command of Al-Qaeda, someone else can take his spot. But Qasem Soleimani was literally the spider within the web of many different terrorist organizations. Like, he was the one that could connect the Houthi rebels to the Hezbollah in Lebanon. Like, taking him out actually destabilized international terrorist networks. It was fantastic. So Iran's capabilities to sort of create havoc in the region were severely diminished with Qasem Soleimani dying, and then hopefully some internal power struggles within the IRGC and Quds Force will stop them from, murdering children and such. And then with the loss of their top scientist, this is good because, one, it delays the timing for them to be able to get nuclear weapons, then use them in the world and end us through global thermonuclear war, which Joe Biden seems to want. Obama really wants a global thermonuclear war headed off by Iran. I'm not quite sure what Joe Biden wants, so this is my anxiety. Like, is Joe Biden like an Obamaite, like critical race theory, give nukes to terrorists, yalla? Or is he like sort of old school Democrat, like, the people who say they want to kill America, Republicans and Democrats together don't want to kill America? Like, I hope he's that guy. But going into a situation where, Israel and Saudi Arabia are really close to peace, and Saudi Arabia and Israel coming to peace will start the major dominoes. I mean, we already have the UAE and Bahrain and Sudan, but with Saudi Arabia, you'll start to see a sort of a wave of peace sort of hit the Middle East that Joe Biden won't be able to stop. He will try and stop it, and then he'll try and take credit for it. But the way the Middle East works, like, this is an amazing show of strength by the Israelis. It will really help push the other Arab nations towards peace because, again, this is how the Middle East works. They took out Iran's top scientist in their capital. It's one of those, this isn't how Canada and the Netherlands come to peace all the time, but this is in the Middle East, right? It's Israel just really showed this is our muscle. This is how good our intelligence service is. This is how good an ally we can be, right? You work with us. You cooperate with us. We can help you take out your enemies. This is Middle Eastern talk. It will do real wonders in helping to bring the Arab nations sort of under the banner of, like, peace with Israel, and then they'll bring them under the banner of, like, closer to Western values and start the pathway to sort of de-radicalization in the region. It's really good news. Really, really good news. If anything, like, it just, at the very worst, what happened today, it put about a 3 to 5 year wait period or delay onto the global thermonuclear war that Barack Obama tried to start. So hopefully it gets avoided. If Trump got a second term, I think he would have stopped the war. With Joe Biden getting back in, it's in danger. But I will say here, what this guarantees, though, is if Joe Biden only gets one term in office and then, someone like Nikki Haley gets in, I don't think he will be able to. I don't think Joe Biden, with the news today, Joe Biden will not be able to kick off a global thermonuclear war with one term. He'll need 2 terms to do it. So very good news. I am a lot less stressed out, even though the censors are making sure that no one sees this video. So please like, share, subscribe, click bells. You know what to do. Thank you.